5 animals that can regenerate their body parts. Number 5, we have lizards. Lizards are actually one of the best examples of partial regeneration in the animal kingdom. And by this I mean they can actually regrow a detached body part. Specifically, they can lose their tail when grabbed by a predator, which is awesome. This ability is called autotomy, and some species of lizards like the Nile monitor will actually store their tail for later How cool is that? But there's a catch. The new tail that grows back is not exactly the same as the one that was lost. The original tail is made of bone, while the new one that grows back is made out of cartilage. Cartilage is what you find at the end of your nose and your ears, while bones are the things that make up the rest of your skeleton. It's weaker than bone, but stronger than flesh. So the lizard can still defend itself if it ever comes across another enemy. However, the new tail isn't actually useless. It can still be used for mating rituals as well as attracting a mate. You might think losing your tail would make you less attractive, but in this case, it's quite the opposite. For starfish, yes, they can regenerate arms. Most sea stars, commonly known as starfish, can regrow a lost arm. That's pretty crazy. I mean, imagine if humans could just regrow our fingers if they got chopped off. That'd be pretty neat. In most cases, a detached arm will simply fall off and get carried away by the water, never to be seen again. Sometimes the broken ends of the other arms will also come off. Now, if you picked up a sea star with one arm missing and put it down somewhere else, there's a good chance that the remaining arms will grow back to the original point of attachment. On top of that, some species of starfish can even regrow an entire new body from a single severed arm, as long as it contains a piece of the central disc. For example, a 5-armed sea star can be chopped into 25 individual pieces, each containing a small portion of the central disc. Each piece can then independently develop into a new, fully formed sea star. As long as that central disc remains intact, anything can regrow. The exact mechanism behind this ability is unknown, but it has to do with pluripotent stem cells that are present throughout the central disc of adult sea stars. Scientists believe that these stem cells dedifferentiate, or return to a more primitive state, and then respecialize to form the various tissues and organs needed to create a new sea star. Now 3. We have deer. Antlers are definitely one of nature's most spectacular biological structures. These bony, branched outgrowths are only found on male deer and elk. Every year during spring and summer, they shed their old set of antlers and grow a brand new pair, and the rate at which these new antlers grow is mind-blowing. During peak growth, antlers can grow up to 20 kilograms of bone in just 3 months. Which means they grow roughly 1% of their total body mass per week. This incredible growth rate is the fastest known rate of tissue regeneration in mammals. To be fair, this isn't really regeneration since they aren't growing back something that was lost. Rather, they're growing back a feature that was always there. Either way, this is still pretty insane. So how do antlers grow so fast? Well, the answer lies within the blood vessels near the growing tip of the antler called the pedicle. There are 2 major blood vessels in the pedicle, the central artery, which brings nutrients to the growing tissue, and the venous sinus, which removes waste. The key to fast antler growth is a high metabolic rate, which requires a large amount of oxygen. Blood from the heart pumps through the central artery and into the rapidly dividing cells at the growing tip of the antler. While there, the cells absorb nutrients and release carbon dioxide and other waste products. The blood then passes through the venous sinus before returning to the heart. Studies suggest that a larger diameter of the central artery provides more oxygen and nutrients to the growing tissue, resulting in faster growth. In fact, the central artery in the pedicle increases in diameter by as much as 10 times during peak antler growth. 2. We have Planarian flatworms. Planarians are pretty strange creatures. They're flat, squishy worms that live in freshwater habitats around the world. They belong to a group of animals known as platyhelminths, which includes tapeworms and flukes. Despite being simple organisms, they're theoretically immortal. What I mean by this is that if you cut a Planarian flatworm into many pieces, each piece can regrow into a complete, independent worm. Scientists discovered this in the early 1900s when they cut one Planarian flatworm into 27 fragments, all of which were capable of regenerating into whole organisms. And just last year, scientists at the Salk Institute in California managed to cut one flatworm into 1,500 pieces, all of which regenerated into whole organisms. Basically, as long as you have enough of the worm, you can keep cutting it up indefinitely. Pretty amazing, right? The reason why this is possible is because Planarian flatworms contain pluripotent stem cells which can differentiate into any kind of cell, basically allowing them to regrow any part of their body. The head end of a Planarian flatworm contains all of its vital organs, including its brain, gut, and reproductive organs. The tail end, on the other hand, does not contain any vital organs. So if you were to cut the head off, it wouldn't be able to regenerate it. But if you cut the tail off, it could easily grow it back. And the crazy thing is that these cells don't just exist in the tail region of the body. They actually exist throughout the entirety of the organism, so you can cut the worm anywhere, and it would still be able to regenerate. And finally, at number 1, we have the axolotl. I'm sure you've heard of this one before. It's probably one of the most famous regenerative animals out there. This weird-looking salamander is often referred to as the Mexican walking fish, but it's actually an amphibian. The axolotl is already pretty good at regenerating body parts. Just like the deer, they can completely regenerate limbs, jaws, spinal cords, skin, and even damaged parts of their brain without leaving any scars. But what makes the axolotl truly amazing is its ability to regenerate with no side effects. Let me explain. When a human loses a finger, our body will try to regenerate it, but it won't be the same. Finger will have a thick, raised scar where the finger used to be. And if we're lucky, the new finger will grow back with a full set of bones, muscles, tendons, nerves, and blood vessels. But more often than not, we'll be left with a shorter, crooked finger that doesn't work properly. Axolotls, on the other hand, experience no such setbacks. If you chop off one of their legs, the wound will heal, and over time a new leg will begin to grow in its place. The new leg will be exactly the same size and shape as the one that was removed, and it will have the same number of bones, muscles, tendons, nerves, and blood vessels. They won't even have to worry about infection or rejection, since they won't have a foreign body in their body. After a few months, the new limb will be indistinguishable from the original one, so if you had to pick an animal that was truly perfect at regenerating its body parts, it would definitely be the axolotl. But now it's time to make your voice heard. Comment below which of these 5 animals was the most amazing. I've been your host, and until next time, remember, the more you know, the more you grow.